fa ya wala di dawa ma ita gera putu su dawa na kanta bera yibo yala du mu da de kan ti malito mojeli yala kan ti malumo wodi ti pogena la di manase ayani ta musofa yala dawa jatu kameleria dawa de diga ni sia to mapi ba tanita dawa de this game taje de this malaria de geriga ma bitu tamane ha yala de diga kalamto sunali anna diga gera akida yala besin gayer mutu ya fi jini sudani na ga mutu apa iya mahali alita rafogo dale bene ta kun nema kosi basi ta kumbar mutu ya fi ta kumbar tatu badu ta kumbar to ajara le batal lakini haja alikosi ta kumbar mu bene ta kun mafi moyo mafi karabagane iya haja kulu batal la gadi ni tena anna ba akili gedea na tana de makuluma kusala bene de.
Sounds of the Week on iRadio, your eye on South Sudan. Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, this is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. An independent policy analyst has asked the Defense Minister Cholton for a strategic reassessment and pause a withdrawal of the Ugandan People Defense Forces. A health advocate in Duke County, Jungle State, has made an urgent appeal for the drilling of boreholes to curb a worsening cholera outbreak that has at least killed 20 people and infected hundreds since last year. And South Sudanese students in Rwanda have welcomed the appointment of the country's first ambassador to the East African nation, saying it will make access to consular services easier. These stories are coming to you more into this news bulletin with me, Diko Andrew. Now the news in details. An independent policy analyst has asked the Defense Minister Cholton for a strategic reassessment and pause and withdrawal of the Ugandan People's Defense Forces. The analysts come amid escalating parliamentary uncertainty led by MP Atem Garang over the executive failure to brief the National Legislative Assembly on the deployment status and funding since March. Brian Adiba asserted that the UPDF deployment challenges South Sudan's sovereignty and complicated border dispute, and I quote, "The UPDF presence around Juba not only present complex challenges to South Sudanese territorial integrity, but also require careful consideration in the context of our long-standing border dispute," end of quote. The analyst highlighted that the deployment is problematic because UPDF force occupy dispute border region, East Africa, Eastern and Central Equatoria, and their presence near Juba challenges national sovereignty. According to the analyst, the status of force agreement is critical flawed due to lack of clear withdrawal deadline, risking of perseveration of occupation, failure to specify clear rules of engagement, and absence of defined geographical limits for UPDF operations. The deployment also raises serious transparency and facial question regarding the funding of UPDF operations, potentially diverting funds from the South Sudan People Defense Forces. The executive failure to provide a full briefing to the NLA since the UPDF deployment in March promoted a direct challenge from MP Atem Garang, who publicly questioned the government's operational status and funding priorities.
With the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, I have observed that since March this year, the Council of Ministers have not been meeting. Is that true? If it is true, then how the country is being managed? If it is true, then is it the one delaying the budget, or budget is delayed because there is no money? If there is no money, then how the Ugandan armed soldiers which are in Mapao being paid, and who is paying them, and what are they doing there, and for how long will they be there? Thank you.
Minister of Parliamentarian Affairs Wek Mamer acknowledged the allegations but defended the executive, stating that the meeting is scheduled in procedural matter related to the laws of the convenient and assuring members that the cabinet meeting will be conducted soon.
Honorable Atem raised issues related to security, an allegation on payment of Ugandan forces. And the other one is related to finance, the budget, and why it's delayed. Is it because the country doesn't have money? Of course, you answer that portion. And I don't know, when you raise issues, you should have tangible evidence in your hand. That one. Number two, coming to the issue of covenant. It is a procedural matter related to the laws of that covenant. It is like if the assembly is not meeting here, nobody will come and question you from the executive. Why are you not calling your members? That one, because there are regulations in place. That one. Number two, the person who can question is the head of the state, of course. Number two, on that subject matter, in relation to the meeting of the cabinet, he said from March up to this time, no meeting has been conducted. What I will tell him is that meeting will be conducted soon.
The report concluded with 5 time-bound recommendations for the Minister of Defense to enhance sovereignty, recommending a phase of withdrawal of Ugandan troops within 45 days and providing a comprehensive briefing of the NLA within 2 weeks. The statement also proposed a motion to Cabinet to renegotiate the 2014 SOF, initiated a capacity assessment of the SSPDF to fill gaps post-withdrawal, and issue an immediate order to restrict all UPDF movement pending a full withdrawal. Elsewhere, a health advocate in Duke County, Jonglei State, has made an urgent appeal for the drilling of boreholes to curb a worsening cholera outbreak that has killed at least 20 people and infected hundreds since late last year. According to the appeal, the outbreak, ongoing since December 2024, has been fueled by widespread flooding and submerged most boreholes, leaving communities without access to clean drinking water. Eric Simon, a Duke-based health advocate, says residents in several areas including Majok, Lang, Pading, and Yin are reportedly relying on river water for survival. Simon explained that with most boreholes destroyed or contaminated, communities have turned to unsafe sources such as the Jungile Canal and stagnant rainwater, which he said harbor the Vibrio cholera bacteria that cause cholera. In a statement, he mentioned the situation is dire with over 900 reported cases and 20 deaths in health facilities and countless more in the community, especially in the island where people drink directly from the river, with 80% of boreholes submerged and no wash partner in the area. Hygiene and sanitation have deteriorated, contributing to the spread of the cholera. End of quote. Duke County, of the largest in Jungule, comprised 7 payams: Payuel, Padit, Agar, Panyag, Donjek, Pajag, and Kadieng. Simon said the county has lacked any active water sanitation and hygiene implemented partners since the withdrawal of USAID earlier this year, a situation that has worsened sanitation and increased disease vulnerability. Simon addressed his open letter to Ask Foundation, appealing for urgent support in providing new boreholes to serve the affected communities. The foundation is led by Honorable Adudkir Mayardit, known for her involvement in community development and humanitarian work. South Sudanese students in Rwanda have welcomed the appointment of the country's first ambassador to the East African nation, saying it will make access to consular services easier. The remark come after President Salva Kiir appointed Rita Kiden Lotwa as ambassador to Rwanda, making the first time South Sudan has an ambassador in the country. In a recorded statement shared with iRadio, Rudma Wajiak, a South Sudanese student leader in Rwanda, said the appointment will bring consular services closer to South Sudanese community in the country. He also said, who is a student in Kigali Independent University, said previously consular service such as renewal and replacement of passports and other emergencies were only available through the embassy in Kampala, Uganda.
I would like to thank you, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of South Sudan, Salva Kiir Mayardit, for appointing the Ambassador of South Sudan to Rwanda, Honorable Ambassador Rita Kedeng. Dear President, it is really important that we are now going to have our embassy that will base in Kigali, Rwanda. Despite that, in the previous years, we were having only one embassy that covered 3 countries: Kampala, Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi. And this one also makes us to face a lot of consequences, because the ambassador based in Kampala, yes, sometimes he used to come, but there are some of the emergency issues that need, the embassies of South Sudanese to be here. Seeing the number of the South Sudanese has increased. As you know, that South Sudanese start coming to Rwanda in big numbers in 2022 up to now. I may guess with an assumption based on how we have been moving from university to university, and also from institution to institution, despite that the immigration of Rwanda could not give us the real statistics of our communities, but we are around 5,000 in numbers. So that's why it is really important for us, because we have some important issues that need to be solved when we have ambassador here. Especially, we have some households who came to stay in Rwanda while their children are pursuing, their studies.
He added that the number of South Sudanese living in Rwanda, including students, has significantly increased since 2022. He called on a new ambassador to travel to Rwanda quickly and began running the embassy.
I cannot complain that we have been facing a lot of difficulties, but at least there's some difficulties, because it is showing that we are orphans here, since we don't have embassy that is based in Rwanda. But since you have came up with this decision, Your Excellency, by appointing the ambassador that will be with us here, we are very sure our thing, including the emergency cases that happen, that may need immediate action, will be solid. And that's why I would like to say thank you so much. We appreciate your leadership. And also, lastly, we are calling for the peace to prevail in our country, Your Excellency.
Meanwhile, another student, Sarah Joshua Cole, based in Kigali, said South Sudanese students look forward to meet the ambassador and sharing their experiences.
Thank you to His Excellency, President of the Republic of South Sudan, Salva Kiir Mayardit, for considering the South Sudanese community and students in Rwanda. It's a great honor to welcome Honorable Ambassador Rita Kiden Lotua to Kigali, Rwanda. Your presence here will be a symbol of friendship, cooperation, and mutual respect between our nations. We deeply appreciate the time you will take to grace us with your presence and share your wisdom and experience, especially with our students who look up to you as a source of inspiration. On behalf of everyone here, I warmly welcome you and hope you feel at home among us. Thank you very much. Looking forward to see you soon.
Until now, the South Sudanese embassy in Kampala, Uganda, has been serving Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi. You're still listening to iRadio News at 1. Elsewhere, the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs has announced a call for application for commissionaries to serve on the long-awaited Truth Commission, a key body mandated to address human rights abuses committee during the Civil War. Established under the 2018 Peace Agreement, the Commission for Truth, Reconciliation and Healing is mandated to investigate violation committee during the war, promote peace and reconciliation, and recommend measures for reparation and compensate for victims of human rights abuses. According to the peace deal, the commission will have 7 commissioners, including 4 South Sudanese and 3 non-South Sudanese, to carry out its work. In a letter dated November 4th and seen by iRadio, the Minister of Justice invited applicants from qualified South Sudanese, including 2 women, to fill for commissioner's position. According to the letter, applicant must have not been convicted of any criminal act or corruption, must not have violated human rights or committed conflicts related to sexual violence, and has respected track record and public confidence. Other requirements include high moral character, impropriety and integrity, and that applicant must not be an active member of any political party or military organization. The ministry said interested candidates should submit a cover letter and comprehensive curriculum vid addressed to the selection panel for the commissioners of CTR-H. The deadline of the submission of the applicants is November 14th. In September last year, the Parliament passed the bill establishing the Commission for Truth, Reconciliation and Healing, as well as the Compensation and Repatriation Authority, another body tasked with addressing victim compensation and supporting the rebuilding of conflict damaged facilities. The two institutions are part of the three transitional justice mechanism provided for under peace agreement alongside the yet to be established hybrid court for South Sudan. Lastly, former Minister of Transport and the leader of the National Democratic Movement, Dr. Lamakola Jawin, has described the late political veteran Bona Malwal Madud as someone who never knew tribalism. He made the remarks in Juba on Monday during the funeral gathering held at the home of the late leader Bona Malwal Madud, who passed away on November 2nd, 2025. Dr. Lam reflected on Bona's role in Southern Front, one of the earliest political movements of champions self-determination for the people of Southern Sudan. He said the movement inclusive spirit and vision of unity transited tribal lines, a legacy he urged South Sudanese politicians to emulate. Dr. Lam also praised Bona's role promoting dialogue among political parties ahead of the 2011 referendum, said his influence was instrumental in fostering conscience during critical moments in South Sudan history. Dr. Lam said also, although Bona organized the party and diligently worked to form the government, he did not assume a leading position in the executive branch after formation of the Southern Region government. Instead, he nominated Clement Mabor for the position of Minister of Interior. Following the 1972 peace agreement that ended the First Sudanese Civil War, 1995-1997, 1972 in Southern Sudan, Malwal served as the Undersecretary of the Minister of Culture and Information starting in July 1972. He became the minister in May 1973 and served until July 1978. Dr. Lam also praised the late leader as someone who was nationalistic in his approach and was very eloquent.
He impressed me as somebody who is eloquent, who is nationalistic in his approach, who never knew tribalism. From there they went. So when they formed the government, and look at this, whom did they think of? Bona Malwal, who was working hard, organizing the party, and first of all, he did not take a leading position in the executive, he brought other people.
Meanwhile, Lamako said the South Sudan lost him at the dear time of his wisdom. He described him as a rare quality of people under the current conditions.
We lost him at a time when we needed his wisdom. Bona has never stopped talking about our problems until the last moment. He never at all stopped. And those who know him, they know that he's a man who gives you his opinion straight. He doesn't beat around the bush. If he approves of something, he will say. If he doesn't approve of it, he will say, and why. He's not only saying it for the sake of saying it. These are the rare quality of people under the current conditions.
Bona Malwal, often referred to as one of South Sudan's founding intellectuals, serving in various Bona Malwal, often referred to as one of the South Sudan founding intellectuals, served in various political and advisory roles in Khartoum and Juba. Throughout his career, he remained an outspoken advocate for peace, national reconciliation, and political inclusivity. Dr. Lamako said Bona's honesty and directness, qualities he said rare in today's political climate, were what made him respected by allies and critics alike. The NDM leader went on to describe Bona Malwal not only as a political elder, but also a personal mentor and family friend, saying his passing leaves a void in the nation's moral and political leadership. With that being, we came to an end with the local news. Up next, international news with my colleague Jamie Satem.
Thank you, Diko, Deandrew, and now let's begin in Africa. The military commander who has ruled Guinea since a coup 4 years ago has entered the presidential race ahead of next month's election, breaking an earlier promise to hand power to a civilian government. General Mamadi Doumbouya submitted his candidacy at the Supreme Court on Monday, flanked by soldiers and wearing black sunglasses. He did not make any public comment. Two of Guinea's biggest opposition parties, RPG, ACS and UFDG, have been excluded from December's contest. Elsewhere, at least 7 climbers, including 5 foreigners and 2 Nepalese, have died after being hit by an avalanche on a Himalayan peak in the northeastern Nepal, expedition agency 7 Summit Treks said. The incident happened at around 9 o'clock local time on Monday near the base camp of the Yulang Rai mountain in Dolaka district. Rescuers located 2 bodies and are still searching for the remaining 5 who are believed to have been buried by snow. 8 others have been rescued and are in the capital Kathmandu getting treatment for their injuries. And finally, US President Donald Trump has endorsed Andrew Cuomo in the New York City mayor's race, urging voters not to elect left-wing frontrunner Zoran Mamdani. The president earlier said he would be reluctant to set more than the very minimum level of federal funding to his hometown of New York if Mamdani was elected. This echoed comments he made in a television interview on Sunday, during which he referred to Mamdani as a communist, a label that Mamdani rejects. And that's the end of the regional and international news with me, Jamie Satem. Now back to you, Diko Deandrew, in the studio.
Thank you so much, Atem. Up next is Sport News with Dalington Moses.
Thank you so much, Diko Deandrew. In the world of sport, let's start with home. George Rodriguez tops the scoring chart in Week 6 of the South Sudan Premier League. George Rodriguez of Jammus FC has taken the lead as the top scorer after netting 6 goals in 6 matches in the ongoing South Sudan Premier League. He is closely followed by Kir Mangar of El Marik Bentiu and Abraham Chudier of Al Ghazala FC, who both share the second positions with 5 goals each. Meanwhile, 4 players share the third positions with 4 goals apiece. Accord Weir of Wajuma FC, Akera Diamond of Bentiu FC, and Gaetan Masha of El Marik Bentiu and Michael Tako of Qatar FC. In Champions League update, Liverpool tonight welcome a club great back to Anfield as Xavi Alonso Real Madrid are in town for a blockbuster Champions League showdown. While the visit of the Spanish giants can never be considered ideal, the Reds will have hope to be in far better shape for the toughest of European tests. On another game on Tuesday night, Bayern Munich will face the greatest threat to their unprecedented 15-game winning streak on the road against the defending Champions League winners Paris Saint-Germain. Both teams are sitting atop the table in their domestic leagues and will use this to establish their place in the Champions League race. And finally, world number 1 Ariana Sabalenka will face Nick Kyrgios in a battle of the sexes exhibitions match in the United Arab Emirates later this year. Belarus Sabalenka, 27, and 30-year-old Australian Kyrgios, ranked 652nd in the world, are set to play each other at the Coca-Cola Arena in Dubai on 28th December. 4-time Grand Slam winner Sabalenka is the reigning Wimbledon and US Open champion. Kyrgios, who reached a career high 13 in 2016, has only played 5 matches this year since returning from a serious wrist injury and kept him out for 18 months. This is all in the world of sport, and back to you, Diko Deandrew.
Thank you so much, Darlington Moses. With that being, we came to an end with our today's news. But first, here are the headlines. An independent policy analyst has asked the Defence Minister Cholton for a strategic reassessment and phase of withdrawal of the Ugandan People Defence Forces. A health advocate in Duke County, Jungle State, has made an urgent appeal for the drilling of boreholes to scab a worsening cholera outbreak that has killed at least 20 people and infected hundreds since late last year. And the South Sudanese students in Rwanda have welcomed the appointment of the country's first ambassador to the East African nation, saying it will make access to consular service easier. That's the end of iRadio News at 1. If there is a story or an event you would like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message on +211 925 287 870. It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page, iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel, iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for news in Arabic at 1:30. I'm Diko Andrew. Thank you for listening.
Sounds of the Week on iRadio.